rogue gameplay coming right up. I've been playing a lot of Barbarian. I've been playing a lot of Sorcerer on the Diablo 4 beta. And I've recently made a rogue less than 24 hours ago. So let's try something new and do some real-time rogue gameplay. Now, as you can see, I am currently level 12. It is a pretty fresh character. I did get lucky with a Rapid Revenant bow. And my current build is kind of a shotgun ricochet build. For those who are curious about that. I've spec'd a lot into Heartseeker. Auto aiming target abilities are wonderful. Picked up a little barrage, ricochet, vulnerability. Real good stuff. You will see soon as to what. And a quick movement skill with dash. I'm trying out a little bit of concealment, but I can't see that going well. And I've been trying a little bit of sustain through crits with Siphoning Strike. Now, Siphoning Strike is a close range sustain, which is more meant for melee, but it is not melee bound, meaning that if we decide to get close, or the enemy gets close to us, we can heal off the crits anyway. So it's a little bit of an emergency sustain if we shotgun. Because ricochet skills can hit the same target. They can ricochet into the target that they ricocheted off, which is quite funny to watch. But it does help with damage, while also helping with clear once there's more enemies on the screen. As you can see, our single target does add up as long as I have energy, which, yeah, I'm still trying to solve that myself as well. But yeah, the auto attack skill's phenomenal. Feels very good, very quick as well as a result of my legendary. Oh. I think I can spec into some concealment for regen as well. Maybe some guaranteed crit when I come out of it. Could be fun. Either way, this homing shot is incredibly busted in my opinion. I can shoot around corners. I can shoot off screen without the enemy even having a chance against me. This Heartseeker skill is very good in the early game. Very, very good in the early game. We're about to do a dungeon here. That was a little bit of a world event that you occasionally see spawn through the world. But let's get into a dungeon so we don't have to deal with awkward phasing issues. And we can just enjoy the gameplay. Oh. It does feel very responsive and very... the feel of the rogue feels very exciting, very, very exhilarating. The dash also looks pretty badass. It doesn't feel like it's hitting something. There is a hit mechanic to it, but it just looks cool when you're dashing. Much cooler than, let's say, a dash in Path of Exile, or even in or similar like skills in Last Epoch. I mean, look at this. Get your blades out and everything. It's very cinematic almost. Is that the word I'm looking for? Perhaps. Mayhaps. Oh, this looks a lot like a certain part later in the game. Mostly because it's the exact same tile set. I won't speak about it to avoid spoilers. But if you know, you know. And if you don't, then you will know if you keep playing. Presumably. Oh.
Time to do that.
I still have to get used to the fact that we now have a dodge button. Through the spacebar at a default level. Oh. I also have an extra potion. Normally you have start with 4. I have 5 as a result of my progression on my Sorcerer. As well as Barbarian. Alright. I can cheese most difficult enemies by simply staying a little off screen and shooting these homing missiles. That then can ricochet with the homing effect. It is kind of nutty, if I'm being honest. Now, of course, this is going to fall off, and it's very weapon dependent, as like most things are. So I hope that the late game stuff, when we're talking about imbuing mechanics, which is an aspect of the rogue that comes in a little later, as well as their level 15 quest, that this might change. Otherwise, I will be a glorified minigun with a homing effect and the occasional Shadow Blast, maybe? Seems that poison imbues will have more of a single target approach, where Shadow seems to be AoE focused, and then you have Cold, which seems to be more focused around utility. So that's up for you to decide, and perhaps even to decide more so when you have certain legendaries or certain synergistic effects that may be later, or perhaps come out as the beta progresses all the way up to launch. All right, let's go. Love me some vulnerable. All right, come on. I did go level up, so I probably should spend that skill point, shouldn't we? Damn, I want more energy. I know there is a basic skill that allows more generation of energy. Maybe I should spec into that just to facilitate it, but I'm stubborn. I don't want to do that. One basic skill is more than enough. I just have to get good. There we go. The good old left click. Brilliant. All right, so let's take a look at the abilities. Now, I did spec into Heartseeker a couple of times to get that base damage up. The energy regeneration skill is, yeah, Invigorating Strike. There's Phasing. I believe that's what it's called. Shift, allowing you to move through enemies. Could be really good with all this density around. I'm not so much against bosses. We are applying daze as well with the this wonderful unique effect on lucky hits and such. So maybe there is some merit to that, to pursue that later. We don't quite have the imbuements here. We need 3 more points. The skill that breaks concealment makes enemies vulnerable? Maybe. I'm actually going to go with energy. You have to. But that gives us essentially the energy replenishment that I need. So maybe concealment is the play. Maybe I should have seen that coming. But I guess you can say it was concealed. Much like these enraged spirits. Where are they? For angry spirits, they are hiding quite well. Get some distance. Alright, now I'm not too worried if I am overwhelmed in melee, because like I said, I have that sustain for close range. And I'm going to spec more into as well, so I can just walk up to an enemy and if I crit, I heal, which is nice. There's not much sustain. The Sorcerer has arguably the best sustain in the game right now, in the beta, with the barrier replenish on cooldown abilities, which is an incredible build. You can pretty much solo world bosses with it if you have some decent gear and knowing what you're doing. I've seen people solo world bosses with it, even on hardcore, especially on hardcore. So, very difficult to beat that. But the occasional crit from close range with some sustain through that would be really nice, because you are going to get hit quite a bit. One of the reasons I don't like that Shadow Shroud, because you get hit so often, it's going to be spending most of its time not on you. Which is unfortunate, because there are some really good effects that you can have as long as it stays on you. Melee people should enjoy themselves quite a bit, though, once they have some gear. With that sustain and the massive crits and the phasing and the dashing around. Oh, speaking of dashing. I do love the barrage. Look at that, you get these mirage effects. And you can walk away from it while they still shoot. It's really good. Which is unfortunate for other skills, because if you take, for example, something like a rapid fire, you don't have that. You can't move while shooting. Of course, that's incredible single target damage. Obviously. Really good for bosses. Perhaps I should respec into that from here. When it comes down to bosses, like the big boss battles. But aside from that, you can't move. Where the barrage skill allows you to keep moving. And the single target damage is not that bad on that skill as well, because Ricochet can hit the same target. And I even believe I can use it as a shotgun if I'm close enough. It seems that the barrage can actually hit the same target multiple times. but can only ricochet once. So you can you can use it as a shotgun. I'm not sure if that is intended or if I'm walking the wrong way. If I've been seeing it wrong. But it seems like if you stand very close to it and then use it, it's a lot of damage. On top of basically creating AoE due to the ricochets, which are chance-based, and if they're vulnerable, it's guaranteed. So I'm trying to create crits, vulnerability, and just shooting a lot of arrows. A lot of attack speed. Still trying to get more energy regen, and that's my initial plan for the rogue right now. I'm not sure how the end game is because I haven't been there yet as a rogue, just as a sorcerer and as well as a barbarian. All right. Let me actually see if I can find a tougher enemy, so we can see if we can shotgun with it. All right. Well, there's the tough enemy. Let's just take out the small ones first. Let's walk up. It's hard to say. To me, it feels certainly like it's doing the works. There we go. As you can see, the ricochet goes to the enemy. You saw it very clearly there. It's very fun. It kind of reminds me of the ice spear effect for the sorcerer, but then good. Which is unfortunate in its own right, but it is what it is. My inventory is getting a little fuller than I want. I should have probably sold some stuff before going here, but alas, here we are. Ooh, nice. Okay. Let's see where this ends. I still have to kill 2 spirits. Come on. Well, we found one. And we found the other one. Ah, that's why I couldn't find them elsewhere, because they were both here. Yeah, it looks like it can hit multiple... the enemy multiple times with the same arrow, doesn't it? Well, it certainly looks that way. And if it looks like that, and it feels like that, it must be like that. If it talks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, and if it looks like a duck, it's probably a goose. Alright. Let's see. A little bit more movement speed as well from that, but mostly the energy regen now, the 40 flat energy instantly. And only having 100 energy, that's a pretty big instant refill. Alright. Looks like it's going to be a kill-all situation. Let's use the choke point. Okay. Come on. You can see my life trying to go up sometimes when I am fighting close range. And that's only with 1 point. You can spend up to 3 points in there. So once I get some real crits, or crit chance, and I get those points in there, I think I'm going to be pretty beefy. Unless I change my plan about the build and do something completely different. But that's the beauty of the beta, as well as the skill points right now. You can spec freely for just 100 gold, I believe it is. I believe it's 100 gold. Alright, let's see what we can do. Wonder how many units we actually have to kill. I will say though, when it comes down to the ricocheting effect or the chaining effect, chain lightning from the sorcerer is still king. In my opinion, I think from what I've experienced so far, sorcerer definitely number 1, because they also have that overwhelming tankiness. Rogue definitely seems to be able to do a lot more damage, especially later in the game. But they just lack that overwhelming, broken, potentially, tankiness that a sorcerer can achieve. But they certainly have the damage and the movement speed. And then the barbarian is just, yeah, a little lackluster still, with the lack of their class mechanic. So I'm really curious to see how that ends up being when it comes out finally. Alright. Looks like it's going to be a pretty big dungeon, eh? Ooh, a waller, get out. I still use my dash as an ability to escape and dodge with, when I should be pressing spacebar. It's going to have a bit of a learning curve to that. There we go. Energy back. Come on.
I need more time.
We can probably do this, can't we? Alright, you're dead. Beautiful. Come on. Maybe I should try to make those dashes actually do the debuffs that they can give. I believe there's a debuff mechanic to it, to the dashes, right? Crit damage. Yeah, so maybe once I have a lot of crit, which is my plan, maybe that's the idea. Just getting a bunch of crit and dash through them, then use the shotgun with the barrage. That sounds like an idea. Will it be good? I have no idea. Time will tell. As well as this dungeon. It is taking its sweet time.
I'm not ready yet.
But it does look like we're getting to a point where things are going to be very boss-like very soon. Ah, there it is. Let's be very cheesy about it.
I need time to do that.
All right. Oh, yeah, there's also a passive dodge chance, of course. Oh, they also have homing shots. Okay, well, if everybody homes, then why am I trying to dodge? Then I should dodge through them. Oh, you can't dodge through them. Yeah, with the sorcery, you don't even have to care about dodging. You just tank it because you have such an overwhelming replenishing amount of shielding. It's all just a suggestion. There you go. The ricocheting effects killing all the ads. Just trying to go for an execute there. But nope, dungeon complete. Got a nice crossbow. And we are wearing too much. Is that a better crossbow? No, it's still not better than the bow that I have, luckily enough. And there you go. A little bit of rogue gameplay for you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see something else, maybe certain abilities or a showcase, let me know. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.